Alright, okay. Hello everyone, it's me, Desire Marsh, and I'm here to play Summoner's War once again. So, the plan for today is to do some farming for one of the, 3 dungeons that you're going to encounter. So, little bit of warning here. Most of my teams for these 3 dungeons, which I'm going to be kind of reviewing to help, I guess, anyone who is new that's getting into the game, if they were to view this, kind of give them a bit of an example, or at least give them more of some tips if they can come across it. I'll be glad if someone who is new to the game, watches this video and maybe learns some stuff and can do pretty good. So I'm going to be farming the levels that I can, necessarily farm well, and I will be showing all my monsters that I use in my teams and whatnot, and showing the runes. And again, most of my teams are not fully 100% that they'll always clear it. It's still a bit iffy, and I'm just going to kind of give a little bit of a rundown. So I'm going to be doing Giant's Keep B10, the lowest floor. Now, so here's my monster lineup. So here we go. Starting with my monster who has the leader skill, we have the Dark Efreet Veramos. I have him runed Violent Blade, so he can get extra turns with the Violent, and he has a little bit of a higher chance to get more damage. To get more damage, or rather, he has a better chance of trying to at least get a critical hit. He has about close to 20,000 hit points. 146 speed is not ideal with any of the Efreets, but that's a bit of, just other stuff. That's just minor things. Next we have the Wind Griffin Bernard. Decent unit. He's runed Swift Focus. I forgot to show the 246 for Veramos. I have him in the 246 speed HP percentage to be precise. And here's the 135, and pretty decent. And then moving on to Bernard, the Wind Griffin, Swift Focus with 246 speed, HP percent, or hit point percent, and accuracy. Oh, I forgot to show the 135. Next, we have the Shannon, the Wind Pixie, who have runed Despair Focus. On the 246, we have speed, hit point percent, accuracy. My Shannon isn't in terms of stats for the runes. It's a little bit bad, but once I get a little bit better, I'll fine tune it. So this is Baladion, the Light Inugami. Violent Focus. 246 is speed, defense percent, hit point percent, and this is the 135 slots. Finally, this is my Praha, a Nat 5 that I had gotten a while ago. Rune, it's Spare Focus, speed, hit point percent, resistance, and 135, right there's 5, and it has 100% resistance. So I'm going to kind of let that run a bit, and this is my team for it. So a little bit of so some advice when going into giants and to go even deeper down into giants. The key components to a giants team is having a cleanser, a speed buffer, a attack and defense buffer, a stripper, and then a +1. So I may want to kind of break down these terms a little bit. So the buffer is one who gives beneficial effects. So in this team, Bernard, who is the Wind Griffin, is our speed buffer, and he grants a speed boost to everyone on the team. Shannon is our attack and defense buffer for this team, and boosts the attack and defense of our team. Cleanser is a person who, or is a unit or a monster or unit that cleanses or removes any debuffs on our team. A stripper is someone who removes beneficial effects on your opposing monster. All of this is necessary for the boss, and then a +1. The +1 is for the team is just anything, just to fill in the slot. And yeah, that's about it. Now, key monsters that you may want for giants, you want Bernard, you may want Shannon, the Wind Pixie, or you may want Megan, the Water Mystic Witch, who also has a attack buff and defense buff. These are just some of the noble monsters. Another good monster to have is the Light Inugami Balladion. Because that Balladion has such a she's a utility monster in that she kind of serves a lot of purpose, with her second skill being a strip, and then her third skill being a heal. It's a small heal, but it's significant once you get it up to snuff and fully powered up. Cleansers, if you're starting out low, I recommend Konamaya, the Water Garuda, but an essential key unit to a Dragons team, not Dragons, well, yes in Dragons, but also in Giants, is Veramos, the Dark Efreet, which you can fuse. Now, I've been playing this game for about 2 to 3 years, and because I was having more of a fun time with it, not being serious, but I did, collect, myself and, got down to the lower floors and whatnot. Veramos is a key unit, and it is best that you really focus on getting him. He is one of your core monsters and units early in the game and a little bit later on. And honestly, it's best to get Veramos as fast as possible. So, now, each dungeon has the boss and then 2 towers which do different things, but going into the giant, or at least talking about the giant, he has a AoE first skill that can attack everyone and pretty much stun everyone, or has a chance to stun everyone for a turn. His second skill is also an AoE attack that can reduce, it does a lot of damage and can slow your team down. But the major thing that you really are going to be hurting a lot about, and especially if, like for GB10, there's a defense break on your team or one of your monsters on your team, is if he hits that second skill or uses his passive called Fend Off, which if he's hit 7 times on the second hit, he pretty much counterattacks the person who landed that hit. And yeah. Again, the essential core team is, I roughly have the essential core team of having everything needed. Praha, for my opinion, was just an extra stripper and healer for utility, but again, if once you get a little bit better at it and you can get your monsters where they need to be, it's a lot better to do it. And you can start really experimenting on all the stuff you can do. And you can get some very good runes out of giants, and some of the more, you get a lot more of your stronger runes out of, the stronger certain sets of runes are between each of the 3 dungeons. You get a certain set, and they're exclusive to those dungeons, but they are a lot better than getting some from the scenarios, and some runes are actually exclusive to dungeons. Now, next we're going to be moving on to Dragon's Lair. Now, I actually am more successful in clearing B7 than B8. I'm still working on it. B9, I had to do some extra things. I had to revive my monsters to get it. And once I get a little bit better, get the better stuff I need, then I can go into it. So now, here we go. I'm going to show you the monsters I have for dragons. And this is my lineup. I have the Fire Vampire Vertiheel as our lead. Now, here's the thing. I have 2 Vertiheels, and this one was the first one I got. And I'm trying to fix him, so when I get better runes, I can fix him and make him a lot better than what he needs to be. Vertiheel, in the beginning, having a Swift Blade set, this is the runes I'm going for, 2, 4, 6, hit point, crit rate, hit point. And it's now best set to run a Vertiheel on is Violent. Violent is the best thing. Keynote, if you're ever running a Vertiheel, you want to get their crit rate up to the maximum you can. About 85 to 100% is the best for a Vertiheel. Try to aim for 100% crit rate, because his passive skill, Boiling Blood, every time he hits a critical hit, he boosts everyone's attack bars by 20% each hit he does. And his first skill hits 2 times, so if he can crit both hits, he's boosting everyone by 40%. Then his other attack, Noble Agreement, hits only once, but has a 30% boost to a critical chance. So he gets a 30% chance, like extra, to hit a critical hit. And I also have the Dark Efreet, who have you seen? Who I already showed in this. Who I already showed for the Giants run. Next is Chaesoon, the Wind Skydancer. And let me tell you, the Skydancers are amazing units. I actually have all 3 attributes. I have 3 of the 5 attributes. I have the Fire, Water, and of course the Wind one, as you see. I have her on Violent Energy, and the stats are not where I want them to be, but for now that's where they are. So he's on Hit Point, Attack, and those are the 2, 4, 6. Chaesoon is actually a phenomenal healer and is very good. And if you catch her in certain areas of the game, like the arena, or in some of the just bigger places like the Real Time Arena or RTA, they are a force that can be reckoned with if you don't know how to deal with them. Next is the Water Jack-o'-lantern. I haven't awakened him yet, but this will be Chilling. My Chilling is ruined Swift Shield, Speed, Hit Point Defense, and Chilling is an amazing unit. I also have the Lady on, already shown you, but let me kind of get this started. Chilling is awesome for the fact that he is a stripper, but it's because of a passive that whenever your opponent has a beneficial effect, and if Chilling attacks that unit or monster, he has a chance to steal those beneficial effects, and if he does, he gets to have them, plus he also gets faster. And he can also he can also slow your opponents down. Okay. So, general note about dragons. It is best that you clear giants. Once you've gotten consistent in clearing giants, is the best time to actually start hitting dragons. Because I was playing for fun and more, yeah, I didn't have a good game plan in battling dragons because I had a bad time doing it because I was screwing around mostly. Now, key units into going with dragons, you want someone for cleansing because of the dragons. One of his towers being continuous damage, a continuous damage tower, which will just let a lot of continuous damage go on your units, and the dragon's first attack can do the same thing. It's best if you take maybe a healer or two. Maybe have one of those healers be a reviver. One of the most key units into going into dragons, if you can acquire it, because of one reason that being is passive. The thing about dragons is the further you go down, the more that all the other all the waves get faster and faster, and then it's pretty much your job to outspeed him. The reason you have a stripper is so that any buffs to the dragon is completely erased. The second skill of the dragon only really works if you attack the towers and destroy a tower. And he attacks the unit who destroyed the tower and can do a lot of damage. His passive skill boosts his attack somewhat incredibly, I think by like 50% or something, or somewhere around there, when his health falls below, I believe it's between 30 to 50%. I forget if it's 30 or 50%, but yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty horrible if that happens. And again, now, once you've gotten clearing dragons, is where you get to what is practically the most painful place to go to in all of these dungeons. in terms of getting the best runes you can get possible. And I'm going to be farming B7 of this, is Necropolis. Necropolis is a horrible, horrible place to be. And generally you want to farm the ever-loving hell out of dragons to get Violent and Revenge runes. And starting off we have the Water Magic Knight Lapis, rune Violent Revenge with speed, hit point, attack in the 2/4/6. Again, we have my Baladion, my single Baladion. Shaolin is a monster that I'll talk into once we start the battle, but she's rune Vampire Nemesis. Speed, crit damage, HP in the 2/4/6. Next we have Colleen, runed, Colleen is the Fire Harpoo, and Xiaolin is the Water Kung Fu Girl. But Colleen is runed Full Revenge. In the 2/4/6 we have speed, defense, HP, phenomenal unit, and then we have Chilling once again. Now, when going into this, the reason you want Violent and Revenge runes is because the boss, the Lich King, Lich, it's a bit debatable, it just depends on where you come from. I'm calling him the Lich King, because if I'm right, depending from like the origin, that's how you pronounce it. But thing about Necro or Necropolis is the boss has a shield that takes a number of hits before it disappears. So the thing about this is you want to bring in monsters or units, however you want. I use the terms interchangeably. That hit multiple times. That one of their skills, or most of their skills, hit more than once. Now, best types of monsters to use is the magic, because they just tend to hit a lot. Going back into the boss, he also has a skill or a passive skill that revives him if he dies, and revives him with 50% of his hit points. Plus, he has a skill that suppresses the ability to increase attack bar, and also kind of suppresses reducing attack bar. Plus, his 2 attacks can allow him to heal. Every time he uses it, the attack gets stronger. Then there's his other skill, which can steal one of your units depending on how much damage has been done. Now, Xiaolin is a bit of a unit that is strictly for kind of nuking the boss down once all like the key parts are set up. Now, the reason for getting Violent and Revenge runes is this. Violent runes give your monster a 22% chance to get an extra turn. And this is one of the skills that, steals your units, which, depending on how it works, can stall you down. Now, so if they have a multi-skill and you have Violent runes, the set being you need 4 Violent runes on a unit, they can get all those extra turns and then pretty much destroy anything. And I'm also going to be farming as well, so I'm going to be cycling through. Now I'm going to continue on with the Lich King. So, and when I'm going back to the Lich, he's in needing those violent runes is because of the fact that if you're like with Lapis, the Water Magic Knight, can hit her first skill hits 3 times, no cooldown whatsoever. 1, 2, 3. The the RNG says, oh, you can proc an extra turn because of violent. Another 1, 2, 3, and say for B7 the shield is about 6 to 7ish hits. It's 7 hits. You've already taken it down. And once you've procced once, it's hard to get another proc after that, but it still is a chance. The other set of runes, which are revenge runes, are a 15% chance to counterattack when you are hit. And you need 2 runes to have a full set of revenge. However, revenge runes stack. So if you would have 3 sets, since there are 6 runes you can put on a monster, if you have 3 complete sets of revenge runes, that is 45% chance to revenge and counterattack. And then, if you have a monster who has multi-hitting skills, you can kind of see where I'm getting at, that they count towards hitting the shield. So, that's a thing that can happen. And that's kind of how you kind of do those 3 dungeons. And the stage of progression is as follows: Giants, Dragons, Necro, or Necropolis. Between Giants and Dragons, the change in difficulty is a bit lenient. It's very easy. Generally, the team you finish off with Giants after completing all 10 floors of Giants, you can get away with that team, relatively speaking, throughout Dragons to a certain extent. Then you're going to need, then maybe you can get a little bit further. It's a bit of a luck situation of how you do it, but it's by the time once you hit your roadblock that in Dragons that you need to start changing your lineup. And that's when that kind of happens. Now, it is possible to do or clear some of these dungeons, or at least some of these floors, without those specific monsters that can help you in these dungeons, but it's a tad harder. For instance, if you're beginning and you're trying to clear Giants, if you do not have Veramos for like the first few, say weeks of gameplay, or it's going to be more, for like a few weeks, just, kind of giving a small time frame, I guess. It's going to be harder to clear those levels of Giants. But it isn't impossible. It's just going to be very difficult, and you're just going to be praying luck. But it's worth getting some of these core monsters because it just helps make things in your life in this game a lot more easier. Like for dragons, you can do it without Vertiheal. It is possible, but Vertiheal makes it so much easier. For Necro monsters, you can use actually the Wind Lick, or the licks that you can summon in general, are good along with some of the Panda Warriors and the Magic Knights. The Panda Warriors the Panda Warriors, the Licks, and the Magic Knights are good. Thing is, the Panda Warriors are natural 5-star monsters, or Nat 5s, which make them a bit harder to obtain, but they can be used there. Preferably, like, say, maybe the Fire or the Water Panda Warrior if you have it. I have the Water Panda Warrior, but honestly, I haven't really messed with him as of late, but I'm gonna make sure he's, decent. But the Wind Lick is very good for the for Necro, especially in like B10. And the Licks and the Magic Knights are all natural 4-stars or Nat 4s, so it's a lot easier to kind of get them somewhat if you're able to summon them. And I think it's still possible to get Lapis for free if you're starting out. I'm still unsure about it, but again, I would. It's honestly good to get the to start off with any of the Magic Knights, and then work your way up to like try to get a lick, one of the licks, especially Fuko, the Wind Lick, and Necro will be awesome for you. It is just the fact that, and I mean this, that you prepare yourself for Necro by literally farming the ever-loving hell out of dragons, and do a little bit of the same with giants once you start hitting on towards, Necro. Plus, leveling up and evolving your monsters along with powering up their runes is also good. And also changing them out every so often when you need to do things like get them stronger, because the further you go down you need better runes. So by the time you're reaching, like, say, B9 to B10, you're wanting like 5-star or complete 6-star rooms. And sometimes you can get away with with it, depending on what your team comp is and a little bit of how lucky you are. But in all seriousness, this is just some of the advice that I wanted to kind of share. Again, so again, there are other well-known YouTubers who also do Summoner's War, like Schizophrenic Gamer. Uh, you have YDCB Games, Claytano. Let's see, other big known YouTubers. Island Grown, What the Flaw. Again, there's a lot of this game has actually been pretty good, being out for like 4 years, and having such very popular people play this game. And I just want to upload videos of this game for fun, because I've enjoyed this game for a while, and honestly, if I could, if you guys may want to see more in this game, I'm down for it. It, I mean, I'm willing to do more for it and do some other games that I do play on here. I'm thinking about maybe doing Fate Grand Order videos. I haven't progressed that far into it that much, so it's a little more easier, but I did get some great units in that game. Plus, I'm playing Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, which I may do some way through that, maybe. And then I am also playing a game called Golf Clash. It's a golfing game. It doesn't sound interesting, but I may post content with it. But as far as it goes, the gaming part is not gonna. I mean, I would love to make gaming more a part of this channel, or more of a staple, but the is where I started off, or I am starting it off. That's where it really has its focus. Every so often, I may just make a video on this game, and showing any progress I got. Maybe show off any new units, or maybe one day, even though it's been done many times, uh, do a summoning session. Summon units that I can get, and I'll be fine with that. It'd be fun. See if I can get some good units. let you guys see it if you happen to see it. It'll just be awesome. Anyways, after I finish at 6, my bad, for the barrier of the shield, but on the B7, like, sorry for, but after I finish this battle, I think I'm gonna I'm just gonna let the video end there. So if you want to see more content, wait, before I say that, for newer players, I'm going to leave a link in the description if I can for a site for any newer players that need to rune monsters, or like put runes in their monsters. I'll put in the description. It's called summonerswar.co. I will put it down in the description. And another note about the Elect King is when it takes your units, they can still use their rune effects. That is right, they can still use it. So don't be fooled. Just saying. Without further ado, if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like, put it in your favorite it, and leave a comment, and possibly subscribe to me, and that would be much appreciated. And if you may want to see more content, just give a comment saying so or whatnot. I appreciate everything, and without further ado, I will see you guys in another video. Alright?